at one stage, the employees were having major problems because they were losing family members through death, natural death. And we then decided that we needed to help the employees, and we bought what was called a Metropolitan Death Benefit Fund, which basically covers employees in the event of death with, I think it was 20,000 Rand or 10,000 Rand. If a main member died, if a child died, it was maybe a little bit less, and if a mother or a father died, it would be a little bit less. So it was a scheme that I implemented to try and assist. But then what happened was, the death certificates are always delayed. So we would then issue an advance to the person instead of waiting for Metropolitan to actually issue a check and verify that the person has got a legitimate death certificate and all that. So what happened was then a second request was made. So if a family member died, they would get two checks. So they would get the Metropolitan check, and then they would get a cash check. But they never actually received the cash check. The cash check was used to draw cash out the bank for bribes and corruption. So the second check that was written out was not ever given to the family, but it was used to pay bribes and to raise cash.
Agrizzi says funds were channeled through a Bosasa-run youth centre in the Northwest. This was for ANC electioneering. A Northwest MEC asked for the money a few years ago, but Agrizzi says he can't recall the official's name.
One of the mechanisms used was to, if a client approached, especially with the youth centres, if they approached for assistance, as they put it, with elections or with electioneering, they would approach us. And normally the youth centre management would come to me and say, look, person X has approached us and they need X amount. And they're prepared to pay for software or a fence or whatever that needs to be provided. So basically, we would supply software programs. Now, these software programs actually didn't cost anything because they'd been done already. So it would be invoiced as a software program, and let's just say, for example, the program would be invoiced out properly as the relevant documentation.
To the youth centre?
From the youth centre to the client. The client would arrange to sign it off, and the client, whoever signed it off, and the person that requested the money, the part of the monies would be retained by Bosasa and the youth centre. The other part would be paid in cash to the official. Now, a prime example of this is in the Northwest province, and I do, if I recall correctly, I do know that there was an investigation at one time, but I wasn't privy to it at all.
Can you say when this would have occurred?
This occurred about 5 years ago.
You refer to electioneering. Did I hear correctly?
Correct.
Yeah. Are you talking about certain elections in certain parties, political parties? Are you talking about elections, country elections like we are going to have and like we had in 2014? Or what are you talking about?
I think these are more regional elections. So
that would relate to a particular party? Or
unfortunately, yes.
Okay. And would this happen with a particular political party, or would it happen with different political parties?
No, it was one specific political party chair.
And it happened on a particular occasion, not it happened over time?
I think it happened quite often over time.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's no secret that there was a reason for that, to support that specific funding of elections and that type of thing.